Dynamic duo, King George, aka Mr. Knowledge is Power. And this is your first time. If you don't know who this is my beautiful co-host, my one and only, my queen, the intelligent, the beautiful.
Thank you so much, Dr.Natalie, Nicole, and happy Sunday, everybody. I hope this candid conversation finds you all well. I am super excited to get into topics tonight.
Yes, indeed. I am too. So yeah, we got a great show for y'all. Again, welcome. If this is your first time, Make sure you come in and make yourself comfortable. Grab you a snack if
Don't
you need
get
a drink.
Too comfortable now.
Yeah.
I want you to engage.
Yeah.
You know, in this platform, we talk about things that are unpopular, but
important.
Very much important. So we're excited to dig in.
Yeah. Again, we got a great show for y'all today. We'll go ahead and jump into the quote.
All right.
For the day. But before that, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm great.
I was thinking about, in my mind, as we're sitting here, how people often complain about there's not a lot, I can't get it out.
Yeah, just breathe.
Not a lot of things to do here in Columbus. And it has been a packed weekend.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, especially MawFest. If you didn't know about MawFest, we went to MawFest today, and it was amazing. We couldn't stay because, of course, we had to come here and do Candid and bring y'all Candid conversations. But yeah, if you it's still going on till 9 p.m.
Until 9 p.m.
Yeah, take your family, your friends.
It's beautiful outside.
It is.
Feels really good. And just to see all the people, it's like a big family reunion out there. Everybody has their tents and their chairs and the food and the vendors.
Yeah.
And then you got family, right, on stage with the music, saxophone, all that good stuff, getting it in. So, yes,
good music.
Very much, a great atmosphere this evening.
Yeah.
Perfect day for it.
Right. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into the quote, which says, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk.
Okay.
If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward."
Ooh, that's good.
Dr. King right there.
Good and fitting considering the news we got this week. Okay? Yes. Very good.
But again, welcome to Candid Conversation. Y'all are in for a treat today. We got so much information to put out.
Yes. Well, let's talk about, before we get in, let's shout out Reverend Jesse, right? We attended service with him today. Thank you so much for inviting us. It was the Grady. Listen, if I can get my life together today, Greater Shady Grove Missionary Baptist Church. And it was absolutely an amazing experience.
Yeah.
That choir, the speakers. Listen, and they had a guest, Mr. Teddy Reese, our state rep, current state rep. Awesome experience.
Shout out to Teddy Reese and his wife who were in the building. Shout out to Reverend or Pastor Gibson of Greater Shady Grove.
Yes.
But we had a great time.
Everybody was so nice. Very nice.
How did you spend your Sunday today?
This morning, early.
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
But so we can get into the election calendar, and then from there, get into the show.
I think one more, the Friends of Claflin, you wanted to mention them as well?
Yeah, Reverend Jesse, the Historic Friends of Claflin. They're doing great things in Columbus with the Historic District and the Liberty Theater.
Yes.
So shout out to Reverend Jesse and those who are, fighting for the culture and for the history that the Liberty Theater and the Liberty District has in Columbus. So,
All right.
Yep. But the 2026 election calendar, if you didn't know, voter registration deadline ended on April 20th. So if you didn't register to vote, this we can't say enough about the impact and the power of making your voice heard.
Yes, our shirts, right?
Yeah,
our sweaters.
Exactly.
Our hoodies, Vote 365. Shout out to the organization that provided these for us. Super excited to wear them.
Yeah. And
the message speaks to what you're speaking about. If you missed an opportunity to register to vote for this election, don't let it pass you by again.
Right. Right. So and then early voting started April 27th. And we all know the importance of early voting. It really, really matters, especially locally. And then it ends May 15th.
Okay.
So make sure you are getting to the polls. And right now they're saying that 6,000 plus voters have already voted.
Yes.
Which is huge.
You think that's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's only going up.
Over 200,000 people population-wise.
Well,
that's not counting everybody. Maybe half of those people vote, like 100,000 or so vote. So are we working good numbers or no?
I think so, considering it being a local election, and we
Okay.
know voter turnout is low.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think they expect, or at least for me, I don't expect there to be a huge number of voters.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it'll be better than it was last election.
Okay, and I do not wait until the last minute. Do not wait until May 19th, Tuesday, May 19th, to stand in a long line to vote.
Right.
When you could go in Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's no line, there's no waiting, and get your vote in. Please don't wait. People are nice, friendly.
Yeah.
You check in, check out.
Yeah. Yeah, get in and get out, you know. But yeah, so again, May 19th is election day, but May 15th is the last day for early voting. You don't want to wait until the last minute. And then absentee ballot requests started, the first day was March 2nd. So if you need an absentee ballot, it's still May 8th is right around the corner. And that's the last day to get your absentee ballot in. So make sure you go ahead and do that. If you have friends, family, loved ones who need help with that, you know, make sure you can assist them with their absentee ballot requests.
And listen, I don't think that you have to necessarily put it through the mail. I've seen a box right there at the Citizen Center where you can drop it in.
Okay.
So, you know, if you want to make sure it's turned in and not have to go through the mail process, there's a box that you can turn it in throughout the day.
Okay.
So that's a good idea too.
All right. So yeah. And then of course, June 16th, if there's a runoff, June 16th is the date for the runoff. Of course, we don't want to run off, but you know.
Yeah, soon as we get closer to May 19th, I'd love to hear some predictions. Not tonight, not today, but some predictions on what we're looking like for mayor and the city council seats and all those seats like the state rep, secretary, things of that nature that affect us.
Listen, I want to hear it right now. I want to hear it right now. So.
I give it some more time.
Okay.
I want to listen.
Okay.
You know, everybody's good, but I want to give it some more time. See what it's looking like.
All right.
Because we still have a lot of people that haven't voted. I don't think, you know, this was the first week for early voting, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But all right, so that is the 2026 election calendar.
Okay. So what you want to talk about next?
Moving right along.
Give some dates for the budget review that's coming up this week.
Yeah, we can get into that real quick.
So we do have the the fiscal year for 2027 budget review coming up. And it's very important, like, that citizens attend and listen and know where the money's going to. And I do believe we have an opportunity to speak up, ask questions and things of that nature. So the first meeting for the budget review session will be May 5th at 9 a.m. and it's going to be in the council chambers. Okay. They're going to have a benefits consultant there and they're going to have a budget overview presentation. Each of the departments will be given presentations. And I think that's so important because what we witnessed at our last city council meeting, you know, people coming up and asking for lots of money. We need to know, like, what in the heck happened to the budget that they had and why are they over? And attending, you know, meetings like this help us to learn that, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we don't feel shocked.
Yeah. Attending these city council meetings is really, really great if you can. You know what I mean? If you don't attend, you know, every month, at least once a month or as often as you can.
Right.
And you can even watch online. But yeah, the public needs to be in the know about what's happening with the city government, the budget, and everything that's affecting us. So yeah, attending these meetings is super important.
Right.
Yeah, it's crucial to voting too.
And when you attend, it also informs you and help you know which candidates right now who have not been attending, who's not been paying attention, and who has no clue what's going on in our city council, but they want to be our elected officials.
Right.
We're going to share this information in the chat, but the next session will be May 12th. It'll be immediately after the city council meeting. And then the following one will be May 19th. And that one will be at the school board building because, of course, that is election day. So, again, we'll share this information in the chat here. But just make sure you plan to attend and save the date and tune in, because I'm sure this stuff will be online as well on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it pretty much for the budget review. I'm looking forward to, we have our books printed out. I'm looking forward to going, reviewing them and going page by page.
Yeah.
Yeah, precept by precept.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we got work to do.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do, especially with this recent Supreme Court ruling. There's work to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We can never not stay on top of what's going on. It is a full-time job, if you ask me.
It is a full-time job.
Our rights, our civil rights, and what's going on locally. We got to stay on top of it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Without further ado, we can move into the next topic. What we got?
City Council, Mr. Paul Olson.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he's a hometown hero.
He is. But again, like we talked about, that's why it's so important to attend city council meetings. I was there. I was on the agenda last meeting, and what I talked about was House Bill 1339,
which was very important.
Yeah, if you don't know about House Bill 1339, please look it up, do your due diligence, because some of the issues that we're running into with city council is those who are appointed are making decisions, that affect citizens, but they're not elected by the people.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that's an issue.
That is right.
Yeah, and those who are appointed, they can sit in this seat for up to a year, if I'm not mistaken, or more. Yeah, so.
And when they're appointed by the city council, then they're doing the city council's bidding,
Exactly.
not the people's bidding. And
Exactly.
we want to prevent that. We do not want people appointed by city council, especially you have no idea what deals have been made behind the scenes.
Right.
And then they're getting up there delivering on what the city council wants, but not what the people want. And I'm just telling you, as a person who's, meticulous and thorough, there are so many things that are being swept under the rug that have not been communicated thoroughly, that has not been followed up on. Like, we're paying over $649,000 for a consultant who told us 35 years of clean, straight finances. And then we got city council telling us don't be bamboozled and this happened and that happened. Well, which one is it?
Right.
Which one is it?
Right.
Who do we believe? And why are we giving so much money to an organization if they're lying?
Right.
Why is the city council using our money for those people to lie to us and then them to tell us something different?
Yeah.
So, the structure of the city council is chaotic at best. And I'm hoping that with this new election, we get people in that's going to clean house, clean up some things. How you doing, Miss Debbie? How you doing, Mr. Quinones? How are you?
Welcome. Yeah, like I said, we got work to do. We got work to do in Columbus. We got work to do as a nation. But of course, we got to start right on our front door, which is right here in Columbus.
That's right.
To make sure that we're doing our duty to not only vote. You see the shirt?
Yes.
Vote 365. But yeah, we got to make sure we're doing our duty to hold leadership accountable because things are happening without the citizens, like the $50 million Synovus Park. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, we got to make sure we're showing up consistently to ask questions, to ask the tough questions, and hold leadership accountable.
And then you get on an interview. Kogel gets on an interview and said that she probably would have made a different decision had she had more information and this, that, and the third. Well, how did you make a decision in the first place if you did not have all of the information that you needed to make?
Yeah.
Did you consult your citizens, those in District 7? That's what's missing a lot too. It's this I, and I'ma do. Well, what about what your citizens want? And we are paying attention to that in this election season. You can be smart, you can be intelligent, you can get all the training and education you want, but you are elected to serve the people, not yourself once you get in the seat. And I hope people remember that because folks are going to hold them accountable. How you doing, Miss Denise?
Right. So yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do in Columbus, and we're up for the challenge. We're up for the challenge, and we hope that y'all are up for the challenge as well because everybody's being affected. Everybody's being affected. And there's an analogy that we saw recently that said, how did it go? The ants.
You got it? Did I send it to you?
You sent it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's really cool, and it sums up basically what we're going through.
Right.
But I'll read it real quick.
Okay. Yeah, so it's so important that the candidates understand that the foolery that has been going on, we intend to clean house. And I love, you found it?
Yeah.
I love how, real quick, Miss Teresa Elamine gets on there and calls the folks lame ducks, right?
No, I don't like it.
Listen, it's a political term. So don't get offended by it. It is a political term for those who are short time and they're on their way out. Okay. So that means they really shouldn't be making decisions that's going to affect the new incoming council. Yeah. And I appreciate what she brings to the table in that sense. Now, it don't sound pretty, but it is the facts. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, but the analogy says, out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for insecticide and they all died, including the housefly that didn't vote. So when we saw that, we was like, that is super powerful right there. Tight. Yeah, that's
but
powerful.
It's right.
But yeah, so that's what's going on right now.
Can you read it one more time? Huh?
Yeah, not only locally, but nationally.
Yes.
It says, out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for insecticide and they all died, including the housefly that didn't vote.
Yes, that's deep now.
It is deep.
That's deep.
It is deep.
And it covers everybody, those who voted, those who didn't vote.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
And I love how this weekend on the stroll, they mentioned, politics is in everything, in every part of our lives. Yeah. You can't dismiss it. You can't pretend like, if you vote and you don't vote, it doesn't matter, because it does. It's going to hit you in your family somehow. So you might as well vote for something.
Exactly. Yeah. So what we got next?
Okay.
And shout out.
Talk about Mr. Paul Olson, honey. And
I just like to bring up the fact that he is not afraid to speak truth to power. He got up there and he laid it out as far as what the decorum and the charter and how citizens come and get on the public agenda, and leadership, whether it be the mayor, I'll say, the mayor tells you what you can and cannot say, right? But it's not based on what the Robert's rules are.
The charter, no rules, no facts. He's just up there making up rules as he goes. Right. And so, for us Army veterans, right, when he said, let me square you away, he was speaking my language. He was speaking my language. And I love, he's a retired lieutenant colonel, I believe. And I love the way that he can sit there and he can say all the facts to the mayor, because you really don't have a right to do this. It just tells them plain. Yeah. And that's how it needs to be. Like, every citizen needs to hold them accountable, but we all do not. We let them slide with a lot of things. I don't know why, but we let them slide with a lot of things when we need to hold them accountable for sure.
I agree.
Because the meeting he addressed that they are elected to serve us. Right. And they don't need to forget that.
Exactly. And the only way they're reminded constantly is if you show up to the agenda, on the public agenda. Even if you don't even get on the agenda, you show up to the meeting. Right. Because if you show up as a presence, you know what I mean, that speaks volumes too, when people show up in numbers. And when people think you don't care and you're not paying attention or you don't know any better, listen, anything goes. Anything goes. And it's like I said, sometimes it's the address. Sometimes it's the city and county. Yeah. Sometimes it's makeup. I don't care what it is, makeup or an address, make up something. Well, if that's the point, that's the case, we don't need it. Well, so just to clarify, because I don't think you're being clear about... the public agenda. Okay. Yeah, the public agenda. Okay. When, you sign up, yes, it does ask you for your address. And at that point, either it's approved or it's not. So once you put your address on there and it's approved, then that means you're good to go. Why do you have to get up in front of the entire world, in front of YouTube University, and say your address, especially if it's something, that people are not going to agree with and may cause harm to you, Right. Right. So that's just some of the things that you face when you get on the public agenda. Yeah. Yeah. And retaliation is another one. Yes. You get on the public agenda, if they don't like what you say, certain counselors, be prepared to be retaliated against. Yes, and for them to get up and walk out.
And I know recently we've seen some video footage. You know, we back here eating, and we watching y'all on the screen, but the screen wasn't even turned up, right? You had to turn it up so you could hear actually what was being said. But I don't care how you slice it; it's disrespectful. We don't come in there with food and eating and all that kind of stuff during the meeting. We sit there, we listen to what they have to say. Eat before you come. Figure it out. But making excuses about you're back there eating, I can see going to the restroom, you know, get it in, come back. But during a public agenda, every time you're leaving during that time, it's disrespectful. This is a citizens elected meeting, and I believe you should be present.
I agree.
Yeah, and you should care, and you should follow up on things that citizens present, but that's not happening, you know, unless they like what they hear.
Yeah. So yeah, we got we got work to do.
And we got to show up, folks. We got to show up. Yeah. Now the next thing on the list was the affordable housing. The one-on-one workshop that we went to, and we didn't get a chance to get to that last week, but Director Scott is the director for that department, reinvestment. So what did you think about the workshop?
The workshop was great. It gave a lot of information into how reinvestment in Columbus works. You know what I mean? And what they do. They just laid it out for you. And we can read a few things real quick. But yeah, I thought it was great. It was a lot of information that was needed. I think that the citizens need to know this information. So definitely, if you don't have a chance or you missed a class, we'll put the information out. But this is one of the booklets. If y'all can see this, this is one of the booklets, and it says on the front, Affordable Housing 101. It just gives you the basic information on affordable housing and how it affects Columbus and across other cities in the nation. But yeah, great information. We learned a lot. And they told you how 30% of your income, if it's going towards your household. If it's going toward you, let me make sure I'm giving the right information.
You're right on that.
Yeah, 30% or less, your housing status is affordable. If 30% or less of your share of income spent on housing, then your housing status is affordable. 31 to 49%, your housing status is cost burden. Yeah, and then 50% or more, of course, you're severely cost burden. So a lot of information, great information on, your affordable housing.
Right. And what I also loved is that it was a hands-on workshop. You didn't just sit there and listen. We read, we had stuff to, budgets to complete, things to fill out, and it was very hands-on and very engaging. They did a great job with the structure of the information and engaging the people who attended. Yeah. So, of course, I've already gave my kudos to this department because their website is very educational, informative. Unlike many other, grant receiving pages that are giving out millions of dollars, and it's just not there. Yeah. But I will say that there was one more thing I wanted to say, and I think I just lost my... Oh, okay. So what they help with is the unhoused. They have an allotted amount of homes that they can put the unhoused in.
Well, not homes.
Those places right next to Joey's Thrift Mall, didn't they say they had some of those set aside? Yeah,
but you got to clarify.
Oh, okay.
Not just homes in general. Okay. It's homes that are a part of the housing authority.
Okay.
Yeah. The housing authority have allotted. Well, I just want to make sure that people are getting the right information.
Okay, you are something else, honey. Okay, but they're homes.
Okay,
they look nice too. The ones they've updated by Joey's Thrift Mall, they look really nice.
For those of you that are from Columbus, Warren Williams is what we're talking about. Warren Williams homes. They are renovating those, and all of the residents who were currently used to be there, they relocated them, but they told us in the meeting that they gave them the option to come back after the renovation. Yeah. Or they'll put a certain amount towards their new place if they choose not to come back.
Right.
So.
And that's great. Of course, they renovated the homes, but they didn't just put the people out. They made sure they were given a voucher or something like that to get somewhere else to live. Right. So they help with that. They also help with down payment assistance, right? And so They give you so much money to support a down payment for a home. And then in addition to that, it was the, what else did they help with, honey? The down payment and just the amount of a home, right? Something else.
I think it's just a down, well, I don't want to.
Yeah, it was the down payment and something else. So, yeah.
But yeah, so what about you? What did you think about the class?
It was great.
What was your big takeaway?
I mean, I enjoyed working with you on our budget, right?
Yeah.
What did we have to do? A budget for how they were going to give out money for 4 different areas.
Yeah, did I took the paperwork out of here too.
So I thought that was cool, just to kind of give an insight on how they come up with the percentages of money that they're going to give to different organizations or different entities of the grants or what have you.
Right.
And it was like 4 of them, and you had to figure out the percentages, and it was hard. Now it was hard because I think it was rental assistance, rental development or something like that, housing assistance and housing development. So I think we wanted to give all of our money, most of it, to rental assistance and not so much to the developing parts.
Yeah, it was rental assistance, and part of it we wanted to give to first-time home buyers, I think.
Okay.
A percentage.
Right.
To them.
Right.
But yeah, but again, it was a great class.
Very great.
But yeah, definitely get in contact with what is their department called?
Reinvestment something. Community reinvestment.
Okay, yeah, definitely get in contact with them. They got a wealth of information on affordable housing in Columbus.
Yes, and we got our little certificates here.
Right.
You got yours on here?
Yeah, and they're looking to partner with organizations too. So
yeah, it was great. It was a great experience and very informative. Very informative. They did a great job of answering all the questions and all that good stuff right there. Okay, honey. Let's see. What's next?
what we got?
You want to talk about the stroll, the polls we went to on Saturday?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody that showed up to stroll to the polls yesterday. Also today, we went yesterday, but they also had it today. I didn't know they did it today also.
Yeah, I think they have a few dates that they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a nice turnout. It was gloomy, but it didn't rain. So yeah, it was a great event.
It was fun. It was fun to see the organizations come together. Now, I don't know all of the names or whatnot because I'm not a part, of that stuff like that for real. But you had the red, which I believe is the Delta, and then you had some pink and green. Yeah. And so, to come together and have fun, and then you had your honorable Calvin Smyrie there. Of course, Dr. Broadwater showed up with the music. Yeah. Yes, he showed up with the music. And then we also seen the president of the newspaper, Mr.
Wayne Hales.
Yeah,
so
shout
out to Mr. Wayne.
It was a great event. They brought the sunshine. It was a little cloudy or what have you, but they brought the sunshine. Your voice, your vote, I think, is the chant. And very grateful that everybody is doing their part to ensure that people are informed and educated about voting. It is so important that we vote.
Yeah, and again, this election is critical.
Yeah.
It's critical. There's a lot going on in Columbus, and people need to make sure that you are voting, period. Your voice matters. Your voice needs to be heard. So, make sure you're showing up to the polls in force.
Right. So I know we were in church this morning. Yeah. But the way that the state representative Teddy Reese came to the pulpit was like he was the Temptations or what's the other people, honey?
5 Heartbeats.
The 5 Heartbeats. Lord have mercy. He laid it out. The importance, the reality of what's going on, and how we need to be a part of history in this city, for this election season. So. I'm very proud of our people who speak up and who show up and who are consistent. Right. Because it's not easy. It's not easy for a lot of us to continue to show up and to speak up, about things that are unpopular. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. I felt like today's message and word and all that good stuff was very empowering.
It was. And I think for whatever reason, people nowadays, especially African-American people, take voting for granted for some reason. And it's detrimental to us. and it's detrimental to moving the city forward. So, again, you have to exercise your right to vote.
Well, I think it has to do a lot with what you mentioned as well, in conversation, that because of economic times, because of, work environments, things of that nature, like those become priorities over going to the polls, over paying attention to politics, period.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of dynamics, I think, as you mentioned to me before, that contribute to people not caring or making it a priority to vote today. But it's so important today that we do vote. And, like it was said, I want to find the clip of what was said today. People died, like you said too.
Right.
People died, they sacrificed for us to be where we are today. And look, what are we willing to do for our future? Are we just going to let them slide through the cracks?
Exactly.
Are we going to let them slide through the cracks?
Exactly.
Are we going to let them have to fend for themselves and go backwards because we're not willing to put in the work and do the fighting that's necessary?
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope not, because that'd be a disservice to our culture. And they're doing so much today to whitewash it, to erase, the history, so you don't know the struggle, and then therefore you don't think you need to fight for anything.
Yeah.
And we got to do better with teaching and all of that stuff.
Right. So again, of course, we love your feedback. Please put it in the comment section. But yeah, we just heard about this Supreme Court decision that was handed down.
Right.
And it's devastating.
Right.
It's devastating. If this doesn't prompt you, or if this doesn't change your mindset about voting and what's going on in this country, we don't know what will at this point, because it's a dirty game that's being played.
Right.
And this is nothing new. Same stuff, different day, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Wilson, how you doing? He says a lot of our people are in survival mode, and that's the truth.
And we've been in survival mode for a long time.
That's the truth.
Unfortunately. So yeah, I definitely agree.
That is the truth. And let's see. I want to read just a little bit of the facts about what we're dealing with as it regards the vote here.
Yeah, they're redistricting right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's. But go ahead, I'll let you read.
Okay. So the Supreme Court did not eliminate Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. What they did was make it harder to prove discrimination. Okay. For decades, communities could challenge voting maps using what's called the jingle test, a framework to show when minority voters were being diluted. Now that test has been tightened. First, if you challenge a map, your alternative must meet all of the state's goals, even political ones like protecting incumbents, and you can't center race in a case about race. The second thing is you now have to prove that voting patterns are based on race, not politics. And in many communities, those are deeply connected. So pretty much the law still exists, but the bar to prove harm is higher. And when the bar goes up, fewer cases make it through. And that's what they're betting on, that you're not even going to waste your time at this point. So this is not legal, it's practical. Voting maps shape our presentation, our representation, our resources, and our power. And they've taken that from us. They've taken that from us. And so the seats we do have right now, because this may be a predominantly African-American, situation, you can kiss that goodbye.
Yeah. Again, it's devastating. It's devastating. But that doesn't mean that we don't fight. That doesn't mean that we don't stop fighting. And put your thoughts in the comment section about what you heard and what you think about this Supreme Court decision and how it affects not only the state, but the ramifications for Columbus,
right?
Potentially, so,
right. And listen, some states have not wasted no time.
Not
Louisiana, they already in their voting season has put a little halt to it to make sure they can go ahead and start. What do they call it? Gerrymandering. Redistricting. The map, so that they can get what they want. And this is a poor way for people to stay in power and take power away, we're not going to have representation if we don't fight and if we don't show up, if we don't speak up. They're taking it legally from us.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so if you're familiar with PAC, PAC and crack, which is where they concentrate all of the Democratic votes in one area, and then the rest of the districts are weakened because all of the Democratic votes are concentrated in one area.
Okay.
And then crack is where, let's say a large population of African American votes are in District 7.
Okay.
What they'll do is they'll split District 7.
Yes.
And that way, it dilutes the vote.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it gives them a better opportunity to choose their voters.
Now,
so that's what it's come down to.
When you think about it, do you think that District 7 is already split?
I don't think so.
South Lumpkin? And
it'll be worse.
Okay, but how do you break down South Lumpkin when it's,
Well, if they redistrict and redraw the lines, they can easily do it. Because again, they know where the largest concentration of votes are coming from.
Okay.
So based on that, they'll draw the line.
Okay.
And then, split the vote that way.
Split the vote that way.
So for example, let's say we're going to decide, we got 10 people, we're trying to decide what we want for dinner. We want pizza or we want burgers.
Okay.
Right? So let's say before this Supreme Court decision, the majority wins.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So let's say 6 people want pizza and 4 want burgers. So what they now, gerrymandering does is, gerrymandering comes along and says, okay,
I'm going to take some of them 6 away.
they're going to take them away. But how they do it is, they're going to take those 6 and then split them into 3 different groups. Now, those who want burgers, which was only 4 people, now they got the majority of the vote. So that's what's happening with gerrymandering and redistricting and them redrawing these lines. So it's a dirty game.
Okay, Wilson says this comes from that I don't see color BS. White people really feel their actions aren't racist. Their policies aren't racist. The orange man set the precedence for this to happen. Yes, I believe all of it is part of that 2025, Project 2025, and it is unfolding before our eyes day by day.
Yeah, and this is nothing new. This is, it's nothing new as far as, what happened during the Civil Rights Movement and the initial Civil Rights Act. But in 2026, and not even in 2026, you can go back as far as 2010 or 2011, where they started this in North Carolina. You know what I mean? They redrew the lines in North Carolina, and they were able to take the state. And then they were able to pass whatever, legislation they want to. And that's what's happening. Once they take over the state, they can just pass whatever. And that's what happened with the voter ID laws and all of that started in North Carolina.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And we had to know this was coming, right? When they removed affirmative action.
Yeah.
When they removed DEI, saying, that's an issue. They are, just removing all the systems that were set in place to allow African American people of color, to have a level playing field.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They have removed those things because, this is America and you need to pull your bootstraps up and get over it and move on. But had we started on the same level playing field, we wouldn't need to have this conversation.
Right.
And that's what they're leaving out, and that is what's unfortunate about the narrative of, removing systems that were designed to make sure we could, have a level playing field and get representation in these offices and in elections.
Yeah, again, it's a dirty game that's being played. It's a dirty game, but people got to show up to the polls regardless, and we just have to be more strategic.
Right.
And like Major Turner said, no retreat, no surrender.
Yes.
You got to keep showing up regardless. You got to keep
Brandon,
showing up. So,
how you doing?
So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. But put in the comment section what you heard about the Supreme Court decision and what you think about how it's going to affect Georgia and other states. You know what I mean? Because it affected Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana. Georgia's next. It may not be this election, but the 2030 election. It's going to be ready. They're going to be ready to rock and roll.
They're getting all their experts together to make sure it unfolds the way that it needs to unfold.
Yeah, so yeah, we gotta still show up. We gotta still make sure that we're doing our part to show up and vote. So they won't at least have it easy.
And one of the things that were mentioned today that I feel that is so important too that we need to understand is the example of when President Obama was elected. So you can't just go into the polls and vote for him and submit your ballot and that be it, because the foundation, the support, and all that good stuff around him needs to be legit as well in order for things to move forward. And people are painting this out to be, the misinformation in a negative light, but it just makes sense that you need to have people in place that are going to represent the voices of the underserved, of the marginalized, of the people that are being left out of these conversations in order for things to move forward in the right direction.
Right.
And, unfortunately, what I feel like is that some of the people that are speaking out with this misinformation, they're being hurt by the decisions that they choose to make, and I don't think they understand that. I don't unless somebody's got a cushion for them to fall on. I don't think they understand.
Well, that goes back to the analogy that we talked about earlier. You know what I mean? If we don't unite, if we don't all understand that, we have to all be on the same page. We don't have to like each other, but we all have to be on the same page, because it's only a minority of people who want to keep us divided. Right. You know what I mean? So we just got to be able to see through it. But what's your thoughts?
So you know how I feel about that. And also, what I feel is that, this partisan and nonpartisan stuff is for the birds, because what happens is their ideology, like, Miss Carmen Rice is a Republican. She's just come out and said that she has not endorsed anybody yet, but all she's going to support are Republican people, okay? And so if she can say that publicly, then that's what's going on in our city council. That's what's going on in elected seats. They are supporting each other. So when the Trumper man was like, I want to go into Washington, D.C., I want to clean up all of the homeless, unhoused people on the streets, lock them up, put them wherever, whatever he did with them, who knows? I feel like the same thing follows suit here locally. Let's criminalize homelessness. Let's give them jail time. Let's give them a fine of up to $1,000. Why? And now they want to make a jail that fits the needs for mental health, for medical issues. Why? That is not where people are supposed to go for mental health issues. I understood they were supposed to de-escalate, and there is mental health services here locally that you take them to, but not to jail unless they have done something that's, criminal.
I agree. So I'm glad they're policing Columbus, who have an empathy for the unhoused, for the homeless people, and they're trying to find somewhere for them to go. They don't want to lock them up. They don't want to lock these people up. They're people. They're part of the community, and you don't know everybody's situation that got them to where they are. You know what I mean? So how can you criminalize homelessness? It just does not make sense.
But my point to that is, whatever standard he set, with Republicans, they are following suit locally in whatever elected seats they're in. And in the same week, I promise you, he was taking pictures with a black friend. Somebody here locally was taking pictures with a black friend and posted it on social media. So, their private networks and communication, go find you one, post a picture. I got black friends. It's just not a coincidence to me that, in the same week. And then you got people defending them. But let's hear what Brandon has to say. Okay. Brandon says, as a white guy who has been out canvassing for Isaiah, I have heard some things that have really pissed me off. But I speak up because my husband and I have a biracial kid, and Democrats have always had our backs. But yes, you can't tell me that racism is not existent. I hear it around Columbus. This Supreme Court is taking folks back. And yes, very much so, Brandon. And I'm glad you can be honest about that, because people will walk around here and pretend that it doesn't exist and everybody's lovey-dovey and kind. And I would tell you, it's just like they will call you sir and ma'am and hello, but that does not mean that they are not racist. That does not mean that their ideologies and how they vote that harm other people is not from a racist place, and we gotta understand that. We gotta understand it.
Yeah, and again, you know, that's why we appreciate candid conversation and having this conversation with the public, because number one, it needs to be had.
Yes,
and
yes.
we need to keep having this conversation amongst everybody, so that we can have a general consensus of what's happening in our city and what's dividing our city and who's dividing our city.
Right.
Because it's people who, they're not ashamed.
Right.
They're not ashamed to show
not
up.
At all.
Yeah, and let you know that they are not for this group or that group.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're going to keep showing up to city council. We're going to keep speaking truth to power. And we're going to keep showing up to Candid, having this conversation with you. So, yeah, we appreciate the feedback. And we appreciate everybody who supports Candid Conversation, because we keep running into people. We keep running into, or we keep having
People
conversations.
We don't know.
Yeah, but the general consensus is that people are afraid, and we can see it. People are afraid to speak up, and we would love to hear what y'all think. Why people are afraid to speak up and speak out. You know what I mean? And we have our idea. You know, certain people are part of certain organizations, so they don't speak up. They're afraid of losing their jobs, so they don't speak up. But in this day and time, we're not facing what they faced in the civil rights movement.
Right.
Our houses are not being bombed. You know what I mean? We're not being bitten by police dogs. We're not being, our lives are not being threatened.
All kinds of things.
Right.
So,
but we don't have that same spirit, that same fighting spirit. And like the pastor said today, we're too nice.
Right.
We're too nice. Like we have to, you know, we have to do our part.
And we've been conditioned, right? We've been conditioned, whether it be religion, whether it be, you know, you don't want any problems. We've been conditioned to show up in a docile, respectful, and mannerable way when they don't always return the same to us. And also about the education, like I feel like he made it so perfectly clear where I can't even explain it the way that it needs to come out. But we are so quick to give others leadership titles, or they're going to take it, period, after we done worked hard, degree after degree, certification after certification, and we are just willing to give it to somebody else, or they will just naturally get it just because of the color of their skin. And, you know, I don't know how we get to the point where we don't understand, like, that is the reality of what it is for certain people, for certain situations. Not everybody, as my husband will always remind me, you know, conducts themselves in a certain way. But we know, and I've had this conversation on social media, Mr. Eddie Lowe, he has a degree in finance. He's been the mayor for a long time over there. I don't know what kind of system they have going on.
Well, it's different in Alabama.
Yeah, it's different, but you know, Alabama is the South.
Well,
it's the South. So it's
different
interesting.
mindset over there, though.
It's interesting. He's been very supported and things of that nature. And then you get over here and we're willing to, like, would you hire somebody? Would you hire somebody who had less credentials and less experience to be in charge of you? Would you do that?
I wouldn't.
Right. Who would? Who would? Who would? Like, are we just like delusional? I don't understand it. You know, and the mayor in Warner Robins, she's got executive background. She's a lawyer. I think she's got all these things stacked up, and they keep voting her in for mayor. But she has the background, the experience in order to be in that position. So how do we here locally even put Kogel as a front runner for anything? I'm confused, and I'm sure Toya Tucker has more degrees and certifications and you know, things going for her than Kogel does. I'm sure she does, but either she's too afraid to run, or I don't know what's going on. But there's no way that I would put somebody in charge of me who has less credentials, less education, less anything to be over me. I wouldn't.
But it's not about that though. That's just what it seemed. For me, it's not about those who have the credentials, because, and what I mean is, you got to look at the history of this country, and that factors into those being in positions that don't necessarily have the experience or the credentials to be there versus somebody else who's well educated.
Right. The system is designed for them
and more qualified.
to transition like that.
So, but that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying. And I had a conversation with somebody that said, and this was a white guy. I had a conversation with him, and he feels like things like DEI, those things are racist. Affirmative action is racist. He feels like African Americans or Negroes or colored people don't deserve reparations. And we could talk about reparations all day long, and put in the comment section what you feel about reparations, because and there was a poll that was done with different groups to determine whether they feel like we need reparations or not.
Most of them said no.
Yeah, Asians feel like we don't.
The Hispanic community.
Yeah, but put in the comment section what
they
do y'all
all
believe.
said no, but they haven't had our
reparations.
experience in this country, and that's why they don't have the empathy to be able to, or the well-roundedness to be able to understand what our culture, ancestors have went through in this country, and they can say that because they don't have a place. And that's what bothers me about representation of predominantly African American communities. People who have not went through the struggle, experienced the struggle, they don't know, and therefore they don't know how to show up, and they can say something so ignorant and say that what we don't deserve. When you built this country off of free labor. Right. And it's like the man said, there's not enough that they could pay. Not enough that they could pay for the amount that they owe for what we've contributed to this nation. It's not. Miss Denise Stephanie says, I feel people are scared because of the backlash from church, work, family, friend groups. Some people would rather stay quiet than spark a conversation. And you're telling the truth, Miss Stephanie.
And
you are telling the truth.
It's unfortunate, and again, we're not facing things that our forefathers, well, not forefathers, but those who were in the civil rights movement. We don't face anything close to what they had to face.
It's modernized.
You know what I mean? So, what's our excuse?
Yeah.
We and it's tough.
Yeah. We
don't have an excuse to give. Nobody's threatening our lives. I mean, if you lose a job, you can get another job. But to continue to be silent, that's consent. And
not use the power that we have and to be neutral. Yeah, that's consent. That's giving up, and that's painting a future for our children that they're going to have to work harder. And, this is a conversation I've had with you, right?
Right.
When I have to come in and clean house at a place because I have people who are older than me who allow people to talk to them any kind of way or treat them any kind of way, and they're older than me, I feel some kind of way about that because I know you know better.
Yeah.
I know you know better. And I didn't come from a mom like that. Like, my mom is 66. She is going to speak up. If you rub the wrong way with some disrespect or inappropriateness, she is going to set you in your place. And that way, the person that comes behind you, the young person that comes behind you, they're going to think twice before they try you like that. But that's not happening today. People are being treated badly and talked to badly in different situations. They let it slide with, being respectful. And guess what? It continues to have a domino effect because if they ain't checked, then they're going to continue to treat other people the same way.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a way to handle everything.
There is.
There's a way to handle it.
There is. But so let's go back to the Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
And gerrymandering and redistricting. So, there's a lot of conversations being had. And we talked about how devastating it is to hear that they're trying to do this all over again.
Right.
Folks have already gone through, the worst of the worst, and it's like, here we go again. And who said that? I think Mr. Corey said being in survival mode. That's real.
That's right. That's
real. Right,
and that's priority. It's priority.
Yeah.
And you got kids to feed, mouths to feed, you got to work, you got all these responsibilities, and the things are stacked up against you in a way that if you miss one bill, you miss one this, like you in for the gutter, because you depending on what it is. So that's a priority for people to live. And, you know, when you have people who criminalize homelessness, or you have people like Mr. Brial, who gets on there and say he's not concerned about that 1%, he's more concerned about the 99%. Well, within that 99%, people are one paycheck away, you know, from being homeless in these conditions that we have.
Right.
Everything has went up. Inflation is real. But the pay is not going up. It's not matching what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And so when you have somebody that's disconnected like that, we know you can't be serious about trying to say you want to serve as mayor for a city. We know you can't be serious.
Right. And you have to be, in leadership, you have to be for everybody. Not a certain group.
Yeah.
And we find that's what happened. That's what's happening with some of these candidates.
Yeah.
You know, and we can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell. You're not connected.
Showing up.
Yeah, you're not showing up, and you're not for all people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're
That's
only
unfortunate.
for your own people, and that's it. And that's what's communicated when you don't show up to forums.
Right.
And you can't make excuses and say, you know, this, that. You knew about stuff way in advance, and there's no reason for you to miss 4 to 5 or 6 forums. None whatsoever, especially if you're serious about serving. Because if you can't make it to forums, so what do we think about electing you?
Yeah.
Are you going to show up for us in town halls and in the way that we need you to show up if you can't show up right now and meet the people who you are supposed to be serving?
Right, right. So again, accountability, you know, it's huge.
Right.
It's huge.
And you know, if they're not returning emails and phone calls and things right now, listen, that's letting you know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's not going to change. It's not going to change.
It's letting you know exactly what you can plan to get in the future. And it takes time management. It takes systems in place to be able to serve effectively. But what we don't want to hear is excuses. Because like I said, you can say, you know, 72 or 48 to 72 hours for me to respond.
Yeah.
And, you know, block out time that, okay, on this day I need to return phone calls, emails, what have you. And I talked to Anchor straight face. I said, sir, you've not returned any of my phone calls or text messages or emails. Oh, I like to talk face to face, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? What you like to do and what's convenient for a citizen who has to work, children, families, all this responsibility is not about you, buddy. It's about making sure that you're accessible to the people that you have promised to serve and serve in excellence. And that's what they need to understand.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But again, we're paying attention. We're paying attention. And I hope that the citizens are going to do a better job of paying attention. And that's why we have candid conversation so that we can make sure that voters are informed when they go to the polls.
Right.
And it goes back to what you said about when you go to the polls, you have to be informed about not just the local level, you got to be informed about the state level too. You know what I mean? You got to be informed about everybody that's running on different levels so that you can make a decision because you're going to be impacted.
Right. And I want y'all to pay attention. We got some of these people that are state level that's coming down here last minute. But people like Robert Wright, who's made a sacrifice to be down here multiple times, multiple forums, in the parking lot passing out information, that lets us know he's dedicated. Right. These people who have been strategic, they show up last minute because it's election season now, and now they want you to remember and, you know, put them in the seat. I don't think that's okay. But the people who've been showing up, like Adrian, he's been here multiple times, hosting town halls, you know, and a lot of people didn't show up, but he was here and he was present and he was getting information and he was going back and giving answers. So please keep that in mind. People who just show up, you know, this pony and dance situation, listen, this is exactly what we're going to get for them if we put them in the office as well. Yeah, and the bare minimum. These forums that are being had and the candidates who are making themselves available, the forum is for the citizens. Yeah. It's for the people to show up so you can see who's running, so you can properly vet them and get an understanding of, you know, who the best candidate is. So, yeah, people have got to show up. And we talk a lot about accountability as far as leadership goes.
but we as constituents and the people
we got to do
have a
our
responsibility
part.
too. So
we got to do our part.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
And this is what I want to challenge everybody. We all have a purpose. We all have a gift. There is so much work that needs to be done. We would spread ourselves thin trying to tackle every concern or issue that's presented to us. Where you fit in, get in there. Okay? Get in there. Okay. So you got people like, Dr. Broadwater, he is everywhere, right? He's speaking up at the elections board. He's speaking up at city council. All right? He needs our help. He needs our help. Then you got Major Turner. He's been fighting this for a long time. He's been fighting this for a long time. The inequalities and the challenging of over 4,000 votes here locally in our city. Many people probably had no idea about that. Yeah. But it's real. And he's been fighting that. We need to join these people. We need to support these people. We need to speak up. Our next elections board meeting is May 7th. And I get it. They have it at times where most people can't even show up. 2 p.m. On a Thursday. Most people cannot show up at that time. That's not even during the lunchtime, right? Yeah. That's after the fact where people are back in work. I'm fighting for them to make that meeting live stream so people can know their rights, know what's going on, what's being said, things of that nature. We need your support. Right. That shouldn't be something that we should have to beg for. As a citizen, as taxpayers, it should be something that we have a right to. And the very fact that it's going on 3 months with no response and no support is a shame. It is a shame. There is no way that we have a disabled, elderly who cannot make it to those meetings, or we have veterans who's serving throughout the day who cannot make it through those meetings. Or we have people who work, parents who can't make it to the meetings, that they don't have access to everything that was said and done. Right. I feel like that is just, against our rights. Yeah. So that's one of the things that we're fighting for. Please find something that you can support, that you can be consistent on, and that you can hold people accountable, because we have to do this together. Right. We have to do it together. Period, point blank. And another thing, too, like you talked about, we have to do this together. The Liberty District, the Liberty Theater. Yes. We just had a meeting last week. Yes, we did. Concerning the Liberty Theater. The Liberty District. There's first of all, it shouldn't have gotten this bad. In the first place. And we can point the finger here or there, but it is what it is at this point. But more people have to come together if we're going to revive the Liberty District. And hold them accountable. Yeah. But shout out to Reverend Jesse and the Friends of Historic Claflin. And they have been instrumental in putting the word out to come together to revitalize the Liberty Theater and the Liberty District. And to hold them accountable at the city. And their president is Mr. Jerome Williams. Yeah. Yeah, so, they have a very organized, structured meeting. They're meeting on the 4th Monday of every month. And it's important to show up and support where you can. Yeah. Because if we don't bring our own chairs to the table, they're going to do what they want to do or not anything. And so I think Ms. Quinona has asked a great question about the homes that they plan to bring into those areas, because that brings in another issue. If you bring in homes that are $300,000 and $400,000 that people that need to live in that community cannot afford, well, what service are you doing? Who is that Liberty District really for? Right. Right. So we have to bring our own chairs to the table. We have to question and we have to ask. There was a lady in the audience. She was like, well, what is affordable housing, right? Yeah. I don't know. That's a great question. Yeah. Then you got to clarify. She changed it to workforce housing. But what is that? I don't know. She didn't know. Yeah. But you're using these terms, but you don't know. But what we do know is it will move the people in those areas right on out of a district that's supposed to be designed for them. Right. Okay. You may read this real quick? Yeah, go ahead. Brenda, let's see. Brandon says, I definitely think it's a generational for sure. The younger generation haven't been through what the older generation has been through, having to march and fight for things. I know the fights in some regards that the LGBTQ community had to fight for, marriage, and we got it under Obama. But I was once told by someone younger, they won't do away with that. I'm not so sure. I think this should continue with any rights we fought for, like women's rights and civil rights. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Corey says, for my first time ever in my life, going and watching and observing, I just felt all these people was snobby. They don't seem to, like they are of the people. They're all put off, they above the people vibes. Talking about the city councilors, Mr. Wilson. And thank you, Brandon, again for joining us tonight and for your insight and your perspective and your engagement. We appreciate your thoughts. And you're right. You know, I know as a parent, I feel like we have tried to share and make sure our kids understand, you know, the history of our country and where we've come from.
Yeah.
But when it's being taken out of the schools, when it's not being taught in churches,
civics,
and when the parents are getting younger than us and not teaching it at all, then this is how the children are disconnected. Because I remember being in college at CSU, and I shared this with you.
Yeah.
I was older because I was a veteran, so I wasn't a traditional student. But the younger babies, they was like, y'all got a chip on your shoulder. And I'm looking at them like, whoa, you know? Like, so they're very disconnected from the struggle, and they don't realize it's the shoulders of the people who, I mean, Harriet Tubman, I got a shotgun for you if you feel like you want to change your mind type energy that helped them to be where they are today.
Yeah.
So that's what's sad about it, is that when you disconnect yourself from the struggle of your people and what helped you to be where you are today, that's very dismissive. And it leads to why we have the issues, some of the issues we have today. It's sad.
Yeah, but that's why we're having this conversation, and that's why we appreciate everybody who joins and supports Candid Conversation, because your opinion, your perspective does matter.
It does.
And that's how we learn and grow. But I say all of that to say, you know, I have conversations with the elders, and what I ask them and talk to them about is, you know, and there can be blame all the way around the table.
Yes.
But the bridge, the elders are not bridging the gap in some cases. You know what I mean? So, and that's why there's a disconnect between the youth and older generations.
Are we the elders?
We're not the elders.
Because are we not bridging the gap with the young people? Because, I mean, it shouldn't have to go all the way back to people like Reverend Jesse. Now, are we the elders you talking about?
No. So, no, the elders are those that are the baby boomers, and I think I would say 65 and plus.
Okay, but we know
elders.
better. So how you gonna skip our generation?
That's what I'm trying to get to that. So what I'm trying to say is they certain elders, they didn't bridge the gap. You understand?
Okay.
So we didn't bridge it.
Okay.
If you get what I'm saying.
So you think our generation skipped it?
I don't think
our generation.
Well, I don't think we did a good job of bridging the gap and passing the torch.
Okay.
So I think the baby boomers or the elders, they didn't do a good job of it, and neither did we.
Oh, I feel like I got it good and deep in my bones, honey.
But you got to think about all of your friends in your circle.
Okay.
They have the same.
I feel like they do. Cause look at you.
No. So.
You didn't have it in your bones?
Growing up, no.
Oh, I had it in my bones.
I did not. Just like we talked about the Liberty District and the Liberty Theater. As a kid, I'm right here in Columbus and knew nothing about it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And nobody in my church talked about it. It wasn't talked about in my home. None of my friends talked about it. So that's and like I said, that's why there's a disconnect.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to bring those younger generations along. Like, hey, this is a big part of history right here.
Well,
and then they'll teach their kids and so forth and so on.
So being from Florida and being called a nigger at school, and my mom being called black and you niggers in our yard from our neighbors, I was not disconnected. Okay?
So when you say disconnected,
I wasn't disconnected from my history, my struggle, because it was real for me that these people are still the same way, you know, as I was growing up. So I was in racism, racist neighborhoods and people. So I guess that would be the difference, because I didn't go to predominantly African American schools until I was in high school. And even that high school was named after the Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard, N.B. Forrest, Nathan B. Forrest. And they just changed that school's name since I've been an adult. So, but I didn't know I was in a school for a Ku Klux Klan member at the time.
Okay.
But I do know how I grew up and the experiences that I had. And I feel like that may be the missing element. So if you grew up in Eddie and it's predominantly African American students, then that's not what's going on. You got a different struggle, not a racist struggle going on so much as what I had, I think.
Well, so as a kid, I understood racism. Like, I understood.
But it wasn't a struggle, though.
When I went, it was a struggle.
Oh, okay.
Because I went from, if y'all are familiar with, I went from Winton Elementary, which was right down the street from my house at the time, to being bused or integrated into Allen Elementary. And I noticed a huge difference between Winton Elementary and Allen Elementary, and I didn't like it because not only was it predominantly white, but it showed us that they were the haves and we were the have-nots. The picture was clear when we got to Allen Elementary that we were the have-nots. You know what I mean? 4-H. We didn't have 4-H before we got there.
We had that growing up.
Everybody brought their lunch. Everybody had braces. After school, everybody was going to soccer practice. And I was just like, all this stuff was foreign. It was foreign. So I'm just saying that to say, but my question to you was, so I wasn't talking about being connected as far as racism. I'm talking about, as a kid, did you know anything about your history is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, because of that.
But how?
Because of that. Because of the conversation that had to happen. Because of movies like Roots and different things that my mom made sure we watched to kind of teach us our history. And just listening to my mom talk. I told you that my grandpa lost his eye because of a white man knocked his eye out. And so he had a glass eye. So, like in Florida, for me, racism has always been a part of the history, and that includes slavery. That includes, me growing up and seeing, whites only at the courthouse as a little person and remembering that, and colored here. Like, and where I'm, that little town, it was country bumpkin. And that was the experience. And so I feel like it did not disconnect me from, and like I told you, what go through at school, we roll in on the bus and it's a white doll painted brown with a noose on her neck. And so those are conversations that have to be had, and this is the history, and this is how, things have been in our country. Right.
So I think you're missing what I'm trying to ask. And we'll get to the comments. We're not forgetting about the family. But what I'm asking, and please answer this question, put your comments in the comment section. What I'm asking is, as a kid, did you know the history of African Americans? Meaning, did you know about the Black Panthers? I didn't as a kid. Did you know about Dr. Henry Clark? Did you know about Malcolm X as a kid? Did you know about that transatlantic slave trade? I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about the transatlantic slave trade and what Africa looked like before the transatlantic slave trade, and the history of Egypt and our people before slavery. So that's what I mean by the history. And the elders are not bridging the gap, because, and even with civil rights,
but they didn't know.
Jim Crow.
I don't think they knew. So I mean,
if you were around, if they knew, because they were around during Jim Crow, so they were connected.
So I'm saying, when you're saying like what it looked like before slavery, like they have conditioned that generation of people to distance themselves from Africa so strong. Oh, I'm not African. Oh, I didn't come from Africa. Or, they made Africa, like we grew up and everybody's starving over there. Everybody got big bellies over there. Oh, we got to give them rice and we need you to sponsor a child. I think they did a great job of conditioning us to make us feel bad, and we were not taught how great Africa, Egypt, all of those things were. But I don't think my mom knew that, and I don't believe her generation before that knew that. And then you go to slavery back there, and they definitely didn't know.
Okay.
We're that far removed from the greatness of where we came from, because once you got here, everything was shut down.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, it was shut down.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, but you know, I don't think the younger generation, and I don't think if Corey said this or Brandon, I think they're so disconnected because, like he said, they don't have to struggle, so they don't feel
Not
like.
the color purple.
Huh?
Go ahead, honey. They don't have to struggle. I'm
Yeah, they don't. That's why it's hard for them to understand, I believe, because they're so far, like, they don't have the same struggles.
That part.
You know what I mean?
That part.
They do. It's subtle.
Yes.
But they don't. It's not in your face. Like,
Right.
You know, what's going on with Columbus and City Council? That's
Right.
how. That's how they. You know.
That's where it's at. Now, say at
That's where
Eddie,
it's
the babies, they were the majority, and white and Hispanic were the minority. So they're not dealing with racism. People aren't bold enough to show up in there, you know, and be like, you know, this and that, because that's not the dynamics of the school. But where it was only one or two of us, yeah, we was getting it, you know, and staring at, look at your hair.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. When we got bused to Allen Elementary and integrated Allen Elementary, and this was in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, this was 89, 90 when we would start being bused to Allen Elementary and Arnold Middle School. I didn't go to Arnold, but I know some people that were bused to Arnold.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, we could tell the difference,
There's a difference.
and we were treated
Differently.
We were treated differently by the teachers, I could tell.
Ooh.
I remember, like it was yesterday, that we were
Okay.
treated. And I even overheard a conversation where the teacher was like,
you'll never forget it.
never. I think this was in 4th grade. One of the white students was complaining to the teacher, and I overheard the teacher say, well, they're not used to this or used to that. And as a kid, I was devastated when I heard that. And I told my mom this. I didn't tell her that then. Because as a kid, I'm trying to process why she would say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Listen, Brandon says Roots, Little Boy King, and the color purple. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, and then Corey says, I didn't get deep into history until I started doing my own research. That's right. But I've always rooted and pulled for black people growing up. It wasn't taught for a reason. Okay. Corey says systematic propaganda is part of systematic racism. It is. Yes. And I'm apparently an according to my workers. What does that mean?
That's like OG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're young though. Okay. Yeah, so I think, you know, depending on the dynamics of how you grew up is how deep the connection is for you. So you do have your experience, but I don't know how you would have weathered if you were like, it was just two of you in a predominantly white school.
But that's what it felt like. It felt like it was just two of us. It was a lot of us now. I'm talking about they took, it seemed like to me anyway, they took the whole neighborhood and bused us to Allen Elementary and
to integrate the school.
To integrate.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that weird for you to know that you integrated a school?
It is. You know,
when you think about it.
Really think about it.
Because you're not old. You're not that old
Well,
for that to have happened. You understand what I'm saying? We're not far removed from what our ancestors have went through and sacrificed for.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but with this new Supreme Court decision, they're trying to take us back. You know, to Jim Crow.
Yeah.
They're trying to set us back. They're trying to put us at the back of the bus, and they're trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you got to prove, well, just because you have to sit at the back of the bus, well, how do you call that racist?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, you know, it's a lot, and the conversation needs to continue to be had.
Right,
and
we can't be afraid.
I just watched the debate yesterday, and that's what they were discussing. They was discussing reparations. They were discussing DEI. They were discussing, you know, slavery, just everything since the foundation of this country that affects African Americans disproportionately. You know what I mean? And the white guy on the other side of the table, he just could not understand why African Americans today feel like they deserve reparations. And he's saying that we're not being. he's saying, yeah, he was making light of it. Yeah, there is a little bit of discrimination, but, you know, African Americans don't deserve reparations. DEI is racist. Affirmative action is racist.
How is it racist? And see, that's the problem. When they think you don't understand and know what the definition of racist is, or they are working hard to recreate a definition of racism, which is gaslighting, that is becoming a problem. Like, they're changing the words from what they foundationally meant and mean to now use it in like a reverse psychology. Oh, you're a racist. No, not according to the definition. I don't have a system, a place, or anything that prevents you from getting a job or any, you know, getting a house or anything else. I don't have that power, but they do. And they don't understand that. They don't see that.
Yeah, but, you know, of course, put in the comment section, can African Americans be racist? You know, that's, some people say no, some people say yes.
No.
You know, but I would love to know what you think.
We can be prejudiced. We can have stereotypes. And what's the other word?
Would you say
discriminate? And we can discriminate. But racist, as the definition I understand it, we cannot. And then we have the critical race theory, where it suggests that, you know, racism is set up. He said, yes, we can. Which was, Corey? Racism is set up in the systems, the bank, the housing, the mortgage, you know, schools, all of those things. It's just subliminal in the background to hold people like when you explain to me. It's
not subliminal.
Well, you understand what I'm trying to say. It's not outright. But when you
talking about nowadays, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, so it's not outright. You go in to get a loan for a business, you know, they're going to look at the zip code. They're going to look at certain things, and they're going to automatically rule you out just based on, even if you do it online. You give a zip code that's, listen, I've done study on this. That
has not been my experience so far. Now,
well, yeah, you're good at this kind of stuff, but I'm just telling you.
I mean, but I do get it. We went to a networking mixer in Atlanta, and that's what some of the people, the business owners, were talking about. They go and apply for a loan or try to get credit, business credit for this or for that, and they get denied.
Yeah.
Versus their white counterpart who gets the loan or gets the grant or gets funding.
Yes.
So it is real. You know what I mean? It is real. So when people say stop complaining or stop playing the victim, that's what I hear too. Stop playing the victim. Like you said, that's discounting how severe slavery was to our people.
It's gaslighting. And when I say subliminal, I mean, like, okay, everybody has to give their address. This is something for the affirmative action. This is what I learned. You can't get away from an address, zip code. That zip code, if you put 31901 or 31903, they automatically know that you're in the poorest neighborhood of the city or where you're coming from. So that will tell your color quicker before they even saw you, before they even put eyes on you. You see what I'm saying? It's little systems like that that contribute to subliminal racism. Systematic racism. Let's see. He says, we can't be racist. We can only be prejudiced. Okay. Wait. Let's see. He said, yes, we can. Take that back. Yeah, like the word woke. Oh, yeah, through the use of the word incorrectly. Yes, they have transformed woke. Listen.
They just took it and ran with
it.
My it means something totally different.
Goodness, yes. We can't be racist. We can only be prejudiced. Yes, woke is a slang term originally meaning alertness to racial prejudice and social injustice, originating in the black culture in the 1930s and 1940s. Goodness, I didn't know it went back that far. As stay woke, it evolved to broadly signify, thank you, awareness of systematic inequality, but has become heavily weaponized in modern political discourse. Yes, I hate when Republicans misuse the word. Listen, at my graduation, they was throwing out the word woke.
Yeah.
You know, as a negative connotation to people. It's unreal. It's unreal. It is unreal. And they were Republican folk.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Reverse psychology trying to use it against you.
And this was a Christian university.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that just goes to show.
Yes, you can't get by.
Don't be fooled when you hear the word Christian, because that does not necessarily mean that somebody, because we heard today, somebody can shake your hand, yes sir, yes ma'am, and still go put on a white sheet.
Listen,
in the
I
hood.
know that. Coming from Florida, I know it. I know it. And I've shared where I have actually seen them in person with the whole full battle rattle, the little cone head hat, and the whole white suit.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah.
Niggers go home.
Yeah.
So,
it's unfortunate. But it's
reality. It's
though.
the reality. It's the truth. And then some of these rural counties, you know, we don't know what the people are going through.
Yeah.
Yep, we don't.
So, yeah. But again, the Supreme Court decision has been handed down. We got a fight on our hands.
Yeah.
We got a fight on our hands, but we still, it doesn't mean that it's the end. You know, we still got an opportunity to change things, because the census, I think the census, so they're supposed to be able to redraw the lines after the census, every 10 years.
Right.
But this gives the GOP an opportunity to come in and just paint the whole state.
Yeah, and then listen, it's part of that 2025, Project 2025, and they probably already got it laid out, how they want to do it and how they're going to fix it.
Well,
let's see.
Again, we're going to lose seats because of this. But again, that doesn't mean that we don't have an opportunity to fight back.
Right. He says, Corey says they always pull words and lingo from our culture and try to use it and flip it when they can't. You're right. Let's see here. Rick Vance, how you doing? He says, from my understanding, affirmative action seems to disproportionately help African Americans and put over 70% white women into the workforce. Help African Americans. Okay, all right. So you say you're saying that affirmative action was more for white women than African American people. And then Brandon says, oh, you're from the land of DeSantis.
Right.
One reason we moved to Columbus. Yes. But you know, this was before his time.
Yeah.
And it has only gotten worse since he's been in office. Anything you say that's direct or make white people uncomfortable is labeled racist. That's the truth. Anything they feel uncomfortable about. And then, you know, add our people to the mix who also feel uncomfortable and defend them. Like, that really boils my blood. Like, they don't need you to defend them. What you need to do is prioritize what we need defending, as opposed to getting on here defending folks that's already got it good. System already set up for them to be successful.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we can talk about this all day. That's a conversation we could, you know, a never-ending conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like it's new, though. I feel like it's new. This calling black people racist is like a new phenomenon. I don't feel like it's the norm. Yeah, I don't feel like it's the norm.
When affirmative action was put in place, people were outraged.
That's when it happened?
People were outraged. Yeah, so that's where it started. And even when the Civil Rights Act was put into place, people were outraged because they don't want us to have a voice.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want it to be business as usual. So this is no different than what's happening now.
Right. Okay. I think we got to make sure we show up May 5th for the budget review. If you're available, I'm sure it will be on YouTube. We got to make sure we show up for the elections board meeting, election and registration board meeting on May 7th, which is at 2 p.m. And our next regular council meeting is on May 12th. We got to make sure we show up, and you have until the Friday before May 12th to figure out what you need to get on the public agenda about and bring and put on the record. Everybody needs to have something that they contribute to the conversation. The same people that keep showing up, we can't continue to do it by ourselves. We need numbers. And if we pay attention to history, people, these data center folks, they're not necessarily for all of us, but they have a mission. They don't want a data center in their community, and they're showing up in vast numbers to make sure they are heard. Same thing happened with animal control. Same thing happened with the finance. Same thing happened with any issue that they have. They show up in droves.
Yeah.
They bring the t-shirts, and they are in there 27, 30 deep on the public agenda, talking about the same thing from a different perspective. Whatever we need changed in our city, we got to do the work. We got to show up. We got to speak up.
Yeah. But I'll let you have your last word before
That was it, honey.
Okay.
That was it. You were something else.
All right. Well.
I landed my plane.
Okay. All right. But real quick, I want to talk about, if y'all can see this, and please scan the QR code if you can. But this just talks about those who are convicted felons. You can vote. And there's a lot of misinformation out there about people being felons and they feel like they can't vote. You can vote. Now, there are stipulations, but I'm going to read it real quick. So you can vote in Georgia if you are not currently serving a sentence for a felony conviction. You can vote. You can vote in Georgia if you are serving a felony first offender or conditional discharge sentence and the status has not been revoked. You can vote. You can vote in Georgia if your sentence, incarceration, parole, probation, etc. is complete. You just have to re-register and then you can vote. So it's a lot of misinformation, and there are those who are not necessarily plugged in and they're thinking that they can't vote. But if you're a felon and if you just heard what I read, you can vote. You just have to make sure you're informed so that there's no issues.
And it's the truth, because just, this information is important, because just this past weekend, we were in the community. The young man said, I'm a felon. That's the first thing he said, so I can't vote. And that is not correct.
Yeah.
And so what we suggested and what we talked about is that there needs to be another step. When they transition out, they need to make sure that their rights and all the things that belong to them, that they have a right to do, is communicated. Set them back up and make sure they're registered to vote if they're, ready to be registered at that time. But our friends and our families and our uncles and our aunts and whoever they may be, who have this thought that because they have a felony, they're not able to vote.
Yeah.
That is not the truth. And we need to make sure we share that information. Share this information. It's on social media. We did post it. And take them, make sure they're registered, and take them to vote.
That's right. And then I'm going to read this about probation. Long probation sentences. So if you meet the following criteria, you may be eligible for early termination of your felony probation. If you completed 3 years of your probation sentence, you're eligible to vote. If there's no probation revocation in the past 24 months, you're eligible to vote. No new arrests other than non-serious traffic offenses, you can vote. And you've paid all restitution, not including fines and fees, you can vote. So how to request your early termination of probation? Contact your probation officer and request early termination. If you meet the eligibility criteria, if on non-report, call the DDS call center at 678-783-4337. And if you're still experiencing issues requesting early termination, reach out to DCS directly at early.termination@dcs.georgia.gov. So this is a great piece of information. Again, I'll hold it up so you can see the QR code. Yeah, we'll share it. But yeah, this information needs to get out to people so they know that they can be heard, their voice does matter, and they can affect change. So yeah.
Now the last thing that just came up.
Now you want to add
and my spirit that I want to talk about is the vast amount of misinformation and the wolves in sheep clothing that we have on social media. Like, social media is the big thing these days, and pretty much is unchecked, because people can say whatever they want to say and not be held accountable for it. But we have always said it: fact check. fact check whatever we say on here, whatever we post on here. It is not ever our intent to post or share information that is not the truth.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to provide sources. We're going to provide the receipts. We're going to provide what you need to further your research. But we have some definite wolves in sheep clothing. And it's how you say the little thing. I'm not really good with the where you throw the rocks and hide your hand type situation. We have that. We have people who are just blatantly lying on social media and twisting the narrative. And they will have you thinking about somebody in the worst ways if you do not do your research. Please, there's 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 different ways to see a story. And I learned that in education, not only from our parents, right?
Yeah.
It's what you said, what somebody else said, and whatever.
Yeah.
But what my professor said is that the best way to learn about history is to learn it from somebody else's perspective. Because they're not going to tell you from a perspective of what they want you to know.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you from what the facts that they understand. And then you put it all together and you make your own decision and understanding of from the knowledge that you receive.
Yeah. Yeah. So, land your plane?
I landed.
Okay. All right, listen, it's been a great show. Of course, we always appreciate everybody who joins Candid Conversation.
Thank you so much.
We can't say enough. Make sure you share this with your friends and your family.
Yes.
And don't let the conversation stop here.
Please have the conversation.
Yes, indeed. Fest is not over, so if you still want to get out
Got
there.
that hour or so.
Yeah, some good jazz music. Vendors are out there. Fest is on 8th Avenue, right in front of the Liberty, the historical and classic Liberty Theater. But yeah, get out there before they close up, before they shut down, 9 p.m.
Shout out to Z Lawrence. This is her baby. We're so proud of you.
Yes.
Continue to show up and do great things in our community. She is the music lady in our city, and she's working to get us nationwide, statewide with bills. So I'm so proud of the work that she's doing. She is really not getting the credit that she deserves here in our city. So let's show her some love.
Yeah. She's getting it from us, though.
Yeah, we do.
You know what I mean? So we're going to give you your flowers. That's what we do here.
Yes.
But yeah, early voting is still going on. Make sure you get out, exercise your vote. You know, too many people have made sacrifices so that we can get out and exercise our vote. It ends May 15th, so you still have time to get out there and cast your vote.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Don't wait till the last minute. La Voz Latina Forum is coming up May 11th. You don't want to miss it. Believe me when I tell you, you do not want to miss this forum.
Yes.
Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Canones.
What did you say, honey?
La Voz.
La Voz.
La Voz
Okay.
Latina. Yeah, you don't want to miss that forum. It's May 11th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Macon Road Library in Synovus Room A, I believe.
Yes.
But yeah, show up and you know, ask the tough questions.
Yes, learn more.
Yeah, so we appreciate you. It's been Candid. I am King George. This is my beautiful co-host.
Dr. Natalie, Nicole.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Peace and love. We'll see y'all right back here next Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been Candid.
All right.